Hi, this is a review of our first Zoom class for any student who would like to review what we went over or who was absent from that first Zoom class. We started here in the Start Here Week 1 Part 1 menu, and we went over the course syllabus. So please make sure that you read that syllabus. We talked a little bit about navigating, so definitely watch this video. And read this Welcome to Your Virtual Mini Term, which was also sent to you in an announcement. Your announcements are over here. Make sure you're checking those announcements each day and checking your Lawson State student email for communications from me daily as well. In the course syllabus, the things that we focused on were where your grade comes from and a few other things. Let's talk about that. So in your class, your grade breakdown is this. Your essays, poetry, short story, and drama are all analyses of research. So there's a poetry theme analysis, a short story cultural analysis, and a drama character analysis. And we'll have an exit exam. We have weekly assignments. Those weekly assignments are small pieces of these larger assignments so that we can put them together and never have to do one huge assignment at once. So those weekly assignments are essential. Those will be where you get feedback to let you know that you're on the right track for these larger assignments. Discussion boards are worth 15% of your grade, so make sure you're participating in those. Every week we will have one that we start on Monday. And we will work to have our responses to peers done on Wednesday. These are very much workshopping things that we're working on during the week to make sure that we have enough feedback and help from our peers to do well on them when we turn the work in over the weekend. Zoom attendance is part of your grade. So if you're watching this because you missed our first Zoom class, make sure that you do attend those Zoom classes regularly. Quizzes are 10%. I think that stands for itself. We talked about academic integrity, the importance of doing your own work. If you're struggling to the point where you're thinking about borrowing a paper from an online source or getting somebody to write it for you, please reach out to me. I'd rather help you through your struggle than have a conversation with you about plagiarism and cheating. Okay. Professional decorum, I'm going to skip for now, let you read through that. Just know that online, I do expect students to have their cameras turned on, that they are dressed, that the lights are on so that we can see and hear each other. Fantastic. Remember that if you are a student with a disability, you still have access to your accommodations. Just have your academic counselor forward me the list of tools that you need, and I will make sure that you have those tools built right into Blackboard. All right, after we went over that, we took the syllabus agreement quiz. So please make sure you've taken that. We talked about our software and textbooks. Now, I am not requiring a textbook for this class. We're using open source materials online. However, I do require all students to use Criterion editing software. And that software is an under $20 purchase. You need to purchase it from the Lawson State Community College bookstore. You can order it from their online bookstore, but it may take you some time for them to deliver it to you. Please make sure you order it with enough time for them to send it to you in the mail if that's what they're planning to do. If you purchased Criterion last semester, in the fall semester, you do need to purchase a new one. It only lasts one semester, so make sure you update your software, please. We took this Criterion use quiz. It's also a very brief true or false quiz, so make sure you take that quiz. The information you need from me to sign up for Criterion once you've purchased your code from the bookstore is here. This is the code that you need from me, but you also need a code from the bookstore. So get that and then use this. Okay. And there's additional information on the ADA accommodations if you should need them. I went over this. This is my hours and contact information. The most important thing to know here is that the best and fastest way to get a response from me is by using email. And I can often respond to emails immediately or within 10 or 15 minutes during the workday. Sometimes in the evenings I can do that. Sometimes I'm spending time with my family and I need to focus on them. So nights and weekends, there might be a delay, but I try to respond to emails very quickly. I don't wake up and respond to them though. I go on do not disturb at night. But you can email me in the middle of the night and I will answer you when I wake up in the morning. But that is the fastest and most effective way to get a quick answer from me on anything. So if at any point you're struggling, or if you need to speak with me in person, send me an email and we'll set up a time to talk. I like talking in Zoom even better than talking on the phone, because we can see each other and we can look at your work together. And it's almost like meeting in my office back on campus. It's the next best thing. If you're having trouble with Zoom, that's when you would use the phone. All right. With that is a warning about this button. This says it sends me a message, but it doesn't alert me to those messages. So make sure you're using that email that I've provided in the contact hours. That would be great. That alerts me immediately. Every time you join our Zoom class, you will use this same link. That's true for office hours or for individual meetings that we might have. Just go ahead and use this same link each time. We started in on our course readings today, and they are in the poetry readings. And we read this together and we talked about it. So I'm going to open it. This is The Red Wheelbarrow. The Red Wheelbarrow is by William Carlos Williams, and it reads like this. So much depends upon a red wheelbarrow glazed with rainwater beside the white chickens. It's a very simple poem. And a lot of people read a lot into it. They say it's about the importance of the farm worker and it's the importance of the wheelbarrow to the farmer. Some people have even read it and said it's like how important a mother is to her family or something like that. But the bottom line is this is an imagist poem, an imagist poet. And that means that this poet puts the importance on the picture that they're drawing with words for the reader. They want you to be able to see it and feel it and smell it. So he's putting all the importance on the image. And that's why it says so much depends upon this image that he's giving to you. And the image to me and the importance of it is really just one of those moments where you're walking around the world and you see something strikingly beautiful and you just think, oh, that's it right there. That's everything. That little scene right there is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And he was struck by that and he found meaning in it. But instead of trying to explain all the things that ran through his head, he just gave us that image and let us feel the same gasp of beauty that he himself experienced. We also talked about the patterns here. We don't see any rhyme and we don't listen to this with the same rhythm that we would listen to a rap song or we would listen to a poem like Listen, My Children, and You Shall Hear the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere. It's not a rhythmic poem and it doesn't have a rhyme, but we do have a pattern. And as you read, I would like you to notice patterns like these. So much depends is 4 syllables. Upon is 2 syllables. And as we look, we'll notice that the second word in each stanza is 1 word, upon, barrow, water, chickens, and they're all 2-syllable words. Upon, 2 syllables, barrow, water, chickens. And these lines are a little bit longer. So much depends is 4. A red wheel is only 3. But so we think we maybe don't have a pattern, but if you keep reading, you'll notice that we do. Glazed with rain is also 3, and then it's beside the white, which is 4. So again, we have 4, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2. We have a very careful pattern here. He's not just chucking words onto the page carelessly. He's choosing them very carefully and crafting them the way an artist would craft a painting. So that's what we talked about with this poem in class. I'm going to go ahead and go back to Blackboard. You are going to read The Red Wheelbarrow, The Road Not Taken, Mending Wall, A Brown Girl Dead, Daybreak in Alabama, Brass Spittoons, The Fish, The Bean Eaters, a ball is for throwing, and dolor, and you're going to read those for Wednesday. You are definitely going to need a dictionary to understand all these poems. You might not know what a spittoon is, and you might need to look that up. You might not know what dolor means, and you might need to look that up. It's as simple as going to Google and typing in define dolor. Don't forget to click on the pronunciation guide and make sure that you are able to pronounce the words that you're learning. Okay, I'm going to close those readings for now. Make sure you've read those for Wednesday. Oh, close the whole course. No thanks. Okay, so we've finished with our course readings, and we've finished with everything in the Start Here menu. So make sure you've taken all 3 quizzes here, or 2 I guess there's 2 quizzes here. And make sure you've read the course readings by Wednesday. And now we're looking at the weekly assignments, and they are broken up into weeks part 1 and part 2. Today we worked on week 1, part 2 in class. We have a quiz on course information, which you should be able to succeed on having watched this video. We have a graded discussion board, and students made their initial posts in the middle of class today. So if you missed class today, please make sure you take care of that right away. Responses to peers aren't due until Sunday this week, but sometimes they will be due by Wednesday. Since we are a mini term, that may happen, okay? And then I talked about this diagnostic essay, and this is again due Sunday. However, if you'd like to take care of it before Wednesday, that would be an excellent idea. The first thing is to read the poem Risk by Anais Nin. That's how you say that name, Anais Nin. The poem reads like this. And then the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. And here's what I'm asking you to do. I want you to read the poem above, and in your response, please write a short essay about this poem. In your first paragraph, please tell me what this poem means to you. Start by explaining its literal meaning, what the poem says with its words and nothing more. Then move to explaining what the bigger meanings make you think about. What do you think the reader is supposed to learn about life from this poem? In your remaining paragraphs, talk about what kind of connection you made to the poem. And this is where your development for this essay is going to come from. Talking about this next question. Have you ever been at a point in your life when the risk to stay the same was greater than the risk to change and grow? And what was that time and how did you blossom? So the poem is very small, but I'm not asking you to write a whole 3 paragraphs just about this tiny poem. I'm asking you to expand it and work on telling me about that time in your life where the risk to stay the same was greater than the risk to change and grow, even though growing was going to be painful. Okay, this essay should be no less than 3 paragraphs. A paragraph is about 10 to 12 sentences, but not more than 5 paragraphs. There is a time limit set and there's only 1 attempt. So I would like you to work in the Blackboard workspace and abide by the time limit, because this gives me a better sense of what is between you and our timed exit exam than if you work on this for 3 hours in Word and just upload it. So please use the Blackboard editor to do this and abide by that 75-minute time limit. I'd really like to see what you can do in that amount of time. Again, because our exit exam is a timed essay, I really need to see what you can do in this amount of time so that I can do whatever I need to do to get you prepared for that exit exam in just 8 short weeks. The last paragraph talks about grading. I'll let you read that on your own. Okay. The last thing I asked students to do before Wednesday was the readings, and I am going to open this up. I've shown you where the readings are, and I've gone over the first one with you. This lists them again, so you don't have to watch this 20 times to get that list. And it's all the ones that are going to be visible in Blackboard. And as you read, keep a log of the words you don't know, and then look them up when you're done reading. And then keep some reading notes. Who is the author of each poem? What is the literal meaning of each poem? What patterns do you observe in the poem for rhyme and meter? What larger meaning do you think the poem has, and what confused you? I had a student ask a smart question. They asked if this was going to be turned in. It's not going to be turned in, but there is going to be a quiz, and you can use your notes on the quiz. So making sure you've done this will make you feel like the quiz is easy instead of that the quiz is difficult. So make sure that you are engaging with these things. It'll also help you in our discussion board. If you've taken some of these notes, you won't have to keep going back to the poems to do our discussion board next week. And then it'll make sure that you are engaging with them in the way that you need to be able to do our next steps. All right. When we log in and Zoom on Wednesday, we will talk about this terms list. And then we will, don't do the quiz yet. Please wait until after Wednesday's discussions for the quiz. And then we'll talk about that reader response assignment on Wednesday as well, and that'll be due on Sunday. I hope this helps. It's certainly no substitution for everything we went over in class, but it should get you through the week. Until Wednesday, I hope to see you in class on Wednesday.